What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing a beer from the More Brewing Company, and they are headquartered in Huntley, Illinois, and this is their Henna, the Banana Split variant. So this is a strawberry, banana, vanilla, and chocolate Imperial Stout. It comes in 14% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in time of review. This can is just under 7 months old. I want to give a huge thanks, shout out once again to a good friend of mine and viewer of the channel, Cameron, for this beer. So big thanks to him. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail boxing video I did that contains all the goodies he sent my way, and he sent me 9 beers from the Midwest region of the US. This is one of the 9, and I'm super stoked for this one because I have reviewed a couple beers from More on the channel. However, they were hop forward beers. This is the first time I'm drinking any kind of darker beer from them, and it's a banana split pastry stout, more or less, and I'm here for it. So just under 7 months old. Cameron and I were talking, and he's like, I hope the adjuncts held up. He said he kept it cold the entire time he had it. I have done the same, so hopefully they have all held up, and time to crack into it. I just got done unboxing a beer mail courtesy of another good friend of mine and a viewer of the channel, Curtis. So I thought, you know what? Let's get into this one. I'm ready for it. So let's give it a pour. It is gushing out a little bit, so we'll see if that, oh my God, that's like chocolate syrup. Are we fucking serious right now? Yikes, but also awesome. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. We'll see how it has held up. I will say that when it comes to beers like this, especially 2 specific adjuncts in here, strawberry and banana. Strawberry, I feel like it's tough to pull off strawberry in beers. You need so much of it, or maybe like a natural artificial flavor. A lot of times it's too subtle. Banana can go either way. Sometimes it's subtle and you're like, I wish there's more banana. Other times there's too much banana. So I'm curious to see how those 2 adjuncts play in this one, especially since you're going for banana split and they're supposed to be a part of the entire experience. But I'm really looking forward to it. Plus, just under 7 months old, we'll see if the adjuncts held up. So there's alcohol sheets around the glass. It is 14%. That poured out like straight up motor oil. Looked like, you know, chocolate syrup. It is pitch black. And let's see if I can rustle up a bigger head here. We'll try. Nah, the best you're going to do is about a half to maybe 3/4 of a finger of this dark brown colored head. It looks wild how dark that head is. Hold it up to the light. There's nothing getting through that. That looks fantastic. Let's get a nose. Also, they have, I think, a couple other I think the original location, shout out to a viewer of the channel, Russell. I remember him saying that in Villa Park is like the original, and they have like great food. And they also have a Bartlett location. All of these, I think, are suburbs that are like, I want to say west of Chicago or like northwest of Chicago. So Huntley is where the brewery is, I believe. Like the main like production facility. I could be wrong. Anybody in Chicago? Correct me. I don't know what I'm talking about most of the time. Yeah, it smells like fucking banana split. Holy shit. Jesus Christ. Did the adjuncts hold up? If the nose is indication, 100%. It smells like someone just placed a fucking banana split right in front of me, and I'm about to dig in, and then I realize I can't because it's a liquid beverage that's 14%. The banana's there, probably the predominant note. It's not over the top, and it doesn't smell candied. That's the other thing with banana beers in general. Sometimes they have that candied, like the runt kind of banana flavor, which I love if I'm eating a runt, but if I'm having a beer, I don't want that candied kind of like yogurt-esque kind of feel. I want a real banana. This smells like real bananas. The strawberry's there, the chocolate's there. It has like this fudgy, like dark chocolate vibe. And then the vanilla. Kind of mimicking the ice cream, like a vanilla ice cream. There's a little bit of like an underlying roasted malt, touch of like a coffee roast. Now listen, I go into a beer like this thinking, A, it's going to be sweet. It's 14%, has those adjuncts. They're going for banana split. It's going to be a pastry stout. No questions asked. Or a dessert stout, or whatever you want to call it. However, what's going to win this over for me, if it does, is that it's not going to be too sweet and too cloying. Or if it is, the flavors are going to be 100% spot on, which means that I don't give a shit about the sweetness. We'll see. Does it smell like those adjuncts in an Imperial Stout? To some degree. The Imperial Stout in beers like this kind of get lost, but I do get a little bit of roasted malt and coffee, so that's nice. But I love the banana and the strawberry, chocolate, vanilla. It's pretty much what I want out of it. So this is right out of my darker beer fridge. Now, I kept this cold the entire time, like regular temperature as far as like my main fridge, but I transferred this to my darker beer fridge earlier today, so This is probably like the 55 range, which is what I like drinking my Imperial Stouts at, like 54, 55. Anyway, let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again to Cameron. The finish is spectacular. That took my, not only my taste buds on it like a roller coaster adventure, but also my emotions. Let's go back to it. This is full bodied. It's not quite to like the medianoche or the pulpit rocks of the world as far as like the body goes, where like those almost drink like smoothie / slushy sours. But this is full bodied. This is thick. It's syrupy. It has an oiliness to it. It's definitely full bodied, 100%. The mouthfeel, while it's mild to moderately carbonated, approaching more of a moderate carbonation, it is really smooth on the palate. It has like an incredible creaminess to it. Body and mouthfeel are fucking superb. This is one of those beers I drink for the body and mouthfeel alone, despite what else is going on. Now, here's the other thing too. I can tell after, I take 3 sips, maybe 4. This is not cloying. It's sweet, but after those 3 or 4 sips, I'm not like kind of being, ugh. A lot of times I'll do that with like after a couple sips of beer. I'm like, oh, way too much, right? It's going to be sweet and I'll probably struggle to put down the last 4 or 5 ounces. However, the first 3 or 4 sips, I'm into it. So Forefront is actually an Imperial Stout. Hits me. That's the first thing that hits me. Nicely roasted, darker malts. There's coffee, and then there's this like 50 or 60% cacao bar kind of like grabbing hold of the front of my tongue and like kind of dives underneath the palate. It's omnipresent to let you know this is a fucking beer. This is not just the adjunct shine and the base beer gets lost. It's actually, the base beer is actually noticeable, which you can't say for a lot of these huge Imperial pastry / dessert stouts. Right after that, there was the Banana Split starts. First thing I'm noticing, predominant note on the palate, it's banana. It's authentic, creamy, ripened banana. It's fucking fantastic. Then I get chocolate, and it's like if you ever had like the Hershey's syrup, but the dark chocolate, the special dark chocolate, it's kind of like that. It's sweeter, but it has a little bit more of like a robust, complex kind of nature to it. Then I get the strawberry, which has this nice, and it has like a tartness to it, kind of breaking up the monotony of all that sweet, rich, decadent flavor. And it really works well because that's kind of what you get like the strawberry sauce in a banana split, right? Same thing with like, anything else you get into, but it is, banana split is what? Banana split is the banana, vanilla ice cream, chocolate syrup, strawberry syrup. Some places will put pineapple syrup or like pineapples. Some places do that. Certainly not in this beer. But I like that the strawberry is authentic. It's like a tart, slightly acidic strawberry while still being seedy and rich. And then on the back of the palate is where like the vanilla kind of carries the rest of the beer. This finishes with a semi-dry kind of finish. No bitterness to speak of. Is this sweet? Yes. Is it decadent and rich? Without question. Is it too much? It might be for some. I would say perfect world, I'm splitting this with one other person. We're each getting 8 ounces. And by the end of that 8 ounces, we have had our fill of Henna Banana Split and we move on to something else. Although at that point, I'd probably be fucking feeling it pretty good, pretty well at that point. I went into this beer with an open mind like I do all my beers that I review on the channel. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, how is the banana going to be? How's the strawberry going to be? Is it going to be too sweet? What's going to happen? And I'll tell you, without question, for me, it has done a great job. That said, there are things that bother me a little bit. Number one, I think the banana is a bit too heavy-handed when you have 3 other adjuncts. So while I like that the banana is sweet, authentic, and the predominant note, it's a little bit it overshadows the rest of the adjuncts to some degree. I also don't like that the vanilla kind of gets a little bit lost. It's just there at the tail end of the finish. I want a little, in a perfect world, I would say keep the chocolate strawberry where it is, kind of tone down the banana and bring the vanilla up for me. That's kind of where I am with this one. And I'd also like some bitterness and a little bit more of like a firm dryness to kind of balance it out because and again, in a perfect world, I would love to drink this entire can and not struggle through the last, like once I get through this glass right here, I probably have like another 2 or 3 ounces. It's probably going to be a chore to put down the rest. I'm just going to pour, I'm drinking it all tonight, so I'll pour the rest of it. But look at that fucking Hershey syrup. It looks like syrup, like someone's pouring syrup into my glass. It's gnarly. Rating on this. So I'm docking points for the vanilla. I combined banana and vanilla because that's what's on my mind. For the banana being a little bit heavy-handed and the vanilla not being, it's not noticeable enough to where it's the 3rd ingredient listed on the can. I would like a little bit more of a intensity to it. So knock it for that, knock it for the lack of bitterness / dryness. However, everything else is pretty fantastic. I like that I can get the base stout to some degree, maybe a little bit more roasted malt or maybe something else, maybe some like random dark fruits would be nice. We didn't even talk about the ABV, 14%. Yeah, I mean, huge fucking warming. Almost my chest is on fire. A little bit of astringency on the palate, but it's 14%. What do you expect? Like, it doesn't hide the ABV well, but it also doesn't like take away from the beer. It's just, it is what it is. It's 14%. So you know it's a big boozy Imperial Pastry Stout, and I'm okay with it. So where am I going to rate this one? I'm going to give Henna Banana Split from More. Give this a high 4.5 out of 5. I'm going to go 4.6. I think that's a fair score. I think knocking it 0.4 for the lack of bitterness and dryness, and then the banana being a little bit too much of a dominant note and the vanilla not being enough. I think that's fair. But does this replicate like a banana split in Imperial Pastry Stout form? I think to some degree it does. It really does. It's delicious. It's tasty. And I want to say Paul over at PA Brew News, he has had, I want to say, he's had a variant of this, or maybe like the base henna. I forget. Paul, if you watch this, let me know. But he really likes this henna as a whole. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know if you've had any of the hennas, let me know. Like I feel like this is probably a fantastic series of beers. This is the first one I've had, so really dig it. So price point availability. Cameron did say these are $22 a 2-pack. So $11 for a 16 fluid ounce can of something that's 14% with those adjuncts. That's fine. Put this in a 500 milliliter bottle, so you get 0.9 fluid ounces more, and you sell it. People would be like, oh, I pay like $12 to $15 for that, or even $20. There's no difference other than 0.9 fluid ounces, and that's $11. I'm fine with it. I would have no issues paying that if I could pick it up here locally in the Buffalo, New York area. And availability, I have no idea with this. I'd imagine brewery only, or maybe they get drips and drabs at different places. I have no idea. No idea when it comes to More, especially something like this. So if anybody outside of Chicago has seen any of the variants of henna or henna itself, let me know. I think they do barrel aged versions and whatnot. I am not up to date with More's lineup of beers. I just know that I've had a couple hop forward beers. I've had a beer like this, and I can say after having 3 beers, they make some fucking pretty good beer, and I enjoy it. So if you've had this one before, post in the comment section. Let me know what you think about it. Would you try a Banana Split Imperial Stout if you've never had one? Because I've had a couple, and they're fun. It's hard to pull off those 4 adjuncts in a beer and still make it balanced to some degree. So I might be a little unfair on this beer, but also I'm reviewing a beer on YouTube, so I gotta call a spade a spade. I give this beer 4.6 out of 5, so it's still a fucking delicious beer. It's just, you gotta really break it down, and I did, I think. So anyway, thanks Cameron for this one. I have one other beer from him that he sent, was the Central Waters anniversary beer. Probably review that in the next month or so, maybe next couple months. It's a big bottle, so I got to take it down just like this. I got to make sure I have allotted the calories, and I'm in a place where I can drink the entire thing. So we'll see when I take that one down, but that's a last from his beer mouth. So thanks to Cameron. Thanks to everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.